the chairperson, and I would request Kesavan sir, he was the vice president of 2020, to say his few words. Then I will hand over it to our chairperson this evening. Kesavan sir.
A very good evening, respected Vice President Adano Badra sir, all my dear friends. I can see so many familiar faces here. Adoop Roy, we are there together in EB. Then Ramesh T, past president of Environment chapter. Then Prashant Sabot. Then our Sabin Kumar sir and all my dear friends. At the outset, I would like to congratulate Kolkata Academy of Pediatrics for taking this important topic for today's discussion. It's a very common problem everywhere in all the conferences. We have to make our conference environment friendly. From beginning, from the release of the brochure, but nowadays we are very, very happy to say that we are nowadays no paper brochure. We are just using WhatsApp message and flyers, and also from compliment kits installed everywhere, even the banners, everything. I think there's lots of changes are there. I think last time in Vellore conference, ID conference, it was totally environment friendly. Now we start writing each and every organizing committee to make the conference environment friendly. For example, Pedicon 24, we wrote to the organizing committee to make it environment friendly. Again, South Pedicon, Kanyakumari, we again wrote the organizing committee to make the conference environment friendly. So each and every conference should be environment friendly. Then only we can move further. I want to say two things here regarding unnamed chapter. It is as mentioned, it is one of the vibrant chapter. It is a family-like team, very good, under the leadership of last time Dr. Ramesh Bajania and Balendran. Very wonderful work. Two things I want to your help. One is that membership strength. We got we are now group. We want to make it a chapter. So we are shortage of 40 to 50 members. So if anybody is not a member of Environment chapter, your membership fees is only 500. Please become a member of Environment chapter. Second thing is that June 5th, it is a World Environmental Day. So please organize various social, public programs in school and also other area so that our Mother Earth will be more healthy and more friendly. So with these few words, I once again thank the Kolkata Academy of Pediatrics for inviting me to give some my thoughts. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai.
Thank you, sir. So, and your words will encourage us to make the changes that we need to do in the future, and probably by next 2 to 3 months, we'll fulfill the deficit of 50 members from the East Zone. And I think Dr. Prashant Sabod is the chairperson today, and he will be the most active member in Odisha, who will convert the environment chapter into a rights group to a chapter. So Dr. Prashant, he is a present EB, and he is a very active IAPN. He has been a part of the different government projects, both in Delhi and in Odisha. And of course, he's a good, he's a person who is very close to all of us. So Dr. Prashant, over to you to introduce the moderator today. Prashant sir, yeah.
Thank you very much, Atanu bhai, for your good words. So I take this occasion. I promise that I will make 10 members from Odisha for this environment chapter, because the membership fees is also very less, and so nice are there in this group. Sir is there, Anand Kesh is there, all who are passionate about environment. So Atanu bhai, we under your guidance, definitely our East Zone will definitely work towards strengthening this environment chapter. So I am really thankful to the West Bengal IEP for making me as a chairman. And my job is to introduce Ramesh sir. So Dr. Ramesh Bajania sir, he doesn't need much introduction. He is a chairperson of our Environment Child Health Group. and also he was secretary in 2019 and 21. Executive board member of CIAP now also, and he was in 22 also. Very good friend of mine. And under IPA also, he was the key person for environmental health, convener, coordinator, faculty for workshop on environment. This was a unique workshop in International Pediatric Association. Dr. Ramesh sir was organizing chairperson for pediatric environment conference in coordinator for West Zone and National Training Point TP and many more. Thank you, Ramesh sir, for giving your time for attending and participating. And definitely we will get all your experiences. And thank you very much for. And I welcome you and hand over to you for introducing the panel members and continue with this
So
today's webinar.
Yeah, thank
Ramesh
you,
sir.
Prashant sir. Before Ramesh sir
Please.
starts, I would request Professor Shapon Ray, who is the scientific chairperson of WBAP, to say a few words before Ramesh sir starts his discussion.
And hearty welcome to all the dignitaries. And West Bengal Academy of Pediatrics is launching this e-library series after 2 years. We are doing it during the COVID time. And today's discussion is the environment-friendly conferences. It's a very hot and burning topic today. We must fight for it. Our all effort and what Dr. Kesavan sir has already suggested, we will try to strengthen this group, and it is the dire need of the hour. So, without wasting time, I will request our moderator, Dr. Atanu Vaddo, to introduce the panelists and start the program.
Ramesh sir will do it, sir. Over to Dr. Ramesh sir.
Yeah. So, good evening, all dignitaries. First of all, let me thank and simultaneously congratulate West Bengal Academy of Pediatrics for selecting this particular topic. Now, it is so heartening for us all at ECHG that people are talking about this thing. And moreover, they are eager to implement as many measures as possible. So my sincere thanks to Professor Kalpana Datta, who is president of West Bengal Academy of Pediatrics, Indranil Chaudhary is HSC, Dr. Swapan Ray sir, professor, he is a coordinator, my very dear friend, EB colleague, Dr. Prashant, he is chairperson, and Dr. Atanu Vadra is coordinator. And I have really been blessed and lucky to have really good faculties. Always in any program, the moderator praises faculty, always. But here I am praising for the another reason, because these people, they are passionate about this cause. I mean, if you look at Dr. Jagdish Chinappa, Dr. Bala, Dr. Ajay, our own Dr. Ramakant, they are all passionate about this. And we at ECHG not only need members, but members who are passionate about taking this cause forward. So Dr. Jagdish Chinappa, hardly he needs any introduction, and he is very modest enough to send only 2 or 3 lines, but people know him. He has a significant contribution in Central IIP in whatever capacity he can. Professionally, he is cluster head pediatrics of Manipal Hospital Group, Bangalore, and Child Central Bangalore is a chain of allergy clinics. And he was past president of Respiratory Chapter, Indian Academy of Pediatrics. Dr. Prashant, as introduced, he is a very, very active and an asset to Central IIP. He is a senior advisor at USAID project, IP Global Limited. He has worked as a faculty Department of Pediatrics, High Tech MC Turketa. He was Chief Medical Officer, GSPL. Team leader, he was for the project between 2014 to 19 at Norway India Partnership Project. And he's EB member as almost last year also 2022 and this year also, and very active, very vibrant member. He is Peace Coordinator 2021 and 22, plus he's national trainer of so many modules of Central IIP. Dr. Ramakant Patil, hopefully he will join us because he's traveling. He's a founder of Nelson Hospital, Nashik. He's and his wife both are pediatricians. Currently, he's president of Maharashtra IAP and executive board member of Central IAP from West Zone in 2022 and this year also 2023. He was organizing chairman of MAPEDIC in 2022. Moreover, he's a very passionate about trekking, running, cyclist, and all know that. In fact, I call him, him as a CBI officer because he's so much having knowledge of legal issues that he's even vigilance officer at FBS. And he again he's an asset to Central IIP. Dr. Ajay Srivastava is executive director, Sumitra Hospital, Raebareli. He was honorary state secretary OP 2021-22. And this year also he's executive board member. In 2019 and 20 also he was executive board member at Central IIP. He was treasurer 22-23, joint secretary 2021, EB member. Fellowship of IIP he got in 2021. There are so many, feathers in his cap. And moreover, he's a very lovely human being. Dr. Bala, without him, I couldn't do anything at ECHG. He was my backbone and a very, very positive person. He's our fourth panelist. He's practicing at Kottayam. And he's my EB colleague in 2023 representing Kerala. He was secretary of Kerala branch, joint secretary and treasurer from 2015 to 20. He was national secretary at our ECHG 2021 to 23. And he did his graduation from Trivandrum and post-graduation from BJMC Pune and DNB from Trivandrum. So now, first of all, why this topic? Because everyone, in fact, they are interested. When we were having some discussion in our core group at ECHG, just casually this topic came out, and surprisingly and happily, most of them they poured their own views, suggestions, opinions, and then everyone realized that really everyone wants to do something, but there is a lack of initiation as far as the general IAPN and OBs and EBs of various groups are concerned. So we formed these guidelines, and Dr. Alok Gupta, from his rich experience of last 35 years, he had vital inputs also, Dr. H. Parmeshwar, Dr. Swati Bhave, and ultimately we formed these guidelines, and it was very well received. And then within next 6 months, Dr. Narmada, she implemented all these measures and made NCPID at Vellore total environment friendly. That first credit goes to her. And now at various forums, the organizers, they ring us, they try to implement whichever feasible measures are. Then we always suggest them that each and every measure is feasible. Don't go for only 3 measures, 4 measures, 5 measures. Not only you do, but simultaneously you publicize it also on social media so that the other people, they also get inspired. In fact, what I plan to do at my place, I try to modify these guidelines for general public also. Like I know so many good cooks, so they have so many contracts during wedding seasons, so they can implement. Whomsoever goes to him for like his daughter's marriage is coming up, and when he goes to that cook, then that cook can give that fine print of which are the measures, that particular party can implement, ranging from water to food and everything. You will see in that one. Can you mute the rest of? So at every conference we have been attending since years, and it is a common sight that be it exhibition area or the dining area or even academic activities going on in the halls. They are littered with so many things. That site is at times so unpleasant. and everyone was talking about it. So, and moreover, these are all avoidable. So let us, as a IAPN, take an initiative, because very few of us, they know that climate change and pediatrician, amongst all the faculties, we pediatrician has the major role to play, because we are, I mean, like a part of their family. So they consider whatever we convey to them, whatever we in fact practice in our own life. I mean, it acts as a role model for them. So a small change, as Dr. Jagdish Chinappa very correctly said, that if you start, suggesting or with some strictness, then people, they generally become rebellion. So it is better that the change comes slowly, and once each and everyone taste the fruits, then the rest of the conferences will definitely adopt all these measures. So straight away now going to our session, I would first ask Dr. Bala. I mean, he's a man at grassroots level workers in our ECHG. Dr. Bala, we since last I have attended 28 pedicons, and I have collection of so many brochures that the first announcement, second announcement, third announcement, we all senior pediatricians, we know that, I mean, there were so many posts which we used to get like a countdown to pedicon. And I really doubt that after 1 year or 2 years, people even look at it or not. So now the things have changed. If we have seen that the IPA pedicon, it was totally paperless. So, Dr. Bala, do you suggest the measures which any organizers, if they are having a pedicon or state level conference, so actually the conference, before the conference takes place, which are the measures, eco-friendly measures, green measures they can implement? Over to Dr. Bala.
Thank you, sir. First of all, let me thank the West Bengal Academy of Pediatrics office bearers, our Atanu Badra sir, Arup Roy sir, our EB Krabasindhu Chatterjee sir, for inviting me to be involved in this very important discussion on how to make our conference environment friendly. Actually, this what sir has said, this has been happening for the last 1 or 2 years in our place. Actually, in our Ped Nutricon, that is our state subspecialty chapter conference on nutrition. We have done at Kottayam. Our secretary, Dr. Nisha Krishnan, was there. She has done, she's a member also. She has done almost everything has been on conference friendly in our district, actually in our Kottayam. So this has been happening. What sir has said, this before the, actually 2 months before the conference, we'll start sending brochures. I have been organizing conferences since 2012. Every year I've been involved. So I remember making brochures, making receipt books, making registration forms. All this has been stopped in our place at least 2-3 years back, since 2-3 years. So actually, there is no need of any brochure. We can make a Google link. We can ask the members to fill in the names and important information that will automatically come to the Excel sheet. So that will be updated. And these registration forms can be done away with, as well as this receipt books. Once you are entered that Google sheet, we can make a WhatsApp group, and you are admitted in that WhatsApp group. That itself is a receipt. So, and every messages, whatever links we have, whatever website messages, everything we have, we can share in that WhatsApp message, WhatsApp group. So all these pre-event information, that is about the brochure, scientific content, everything can be shared online without wasting a single paper. So this has been happening here. I am not, I don't think in any conferences in all over India, these brochures are still made. Last 2 years in our state, no conferences has printed any brochures for that. And also from the beginning itself, conferences should be boldly advertised as environment friendly conference. And fortunately, and actually, our Dr. Sachi sir and Narayan sir has made the theme of Pedicon 2024 as global warming and childhood. And also, I myself being the joint secretary of the organizing committee, sir has told me to be involved in whatever we can do, all the materials, everything related to environment friendly conference, as this has been responsibility as given to me. So, so this has to be advertised even from the beginning itself that our conference should be environment friendly, and all whoever are traveling, suppose in other places, we should done away or your this boarding pass and travel pass. Nothing, everywhere we can show this online, this soft copy. No need of any, even in hotels also, everything is online. So no paper should be wasted while attending a conference, and decorations also should be done away with. That this has to be decided from the beginning itself. That's what
Absolutely.
I think, sir.
Absolutely. I mean, we are all thankful to you organizers of Pedicon 24 for selecting a theme which goes in line with our mission of at ECHG. And one more suggestion, in fact, out of context, most of our sessions of all minor groups, especially as ECHG also, they are always in very small hall like G or H. So in order to emphasize to a common pediatrician, let it, I mean, one session be kept in hall A or B. I mean, this will go a long way. It's very, very important. So, Dr. Jagdish sir, I mean, you are a doyen. You have attended so many international conferences, national conferences, and you have seen all the hypes and I mean, the glamour related to inauguration. So, can you suggest, I mean, the measures which can radically change and make it simpler rather than, because we pediatrician don't need that glamorous life. I mean, we are role model for budding pediatricians. So, Dr. Jagdish sir.
Thank you, Dr. Ramesh ji and the Bengal Association, IP Association for inviting me. Well, I think everybody should read the document prepared by Dr. Ramesh and Dr. Balchandra, which has been published on conference guidelines, and the inauguration is also included in that. So I'm going to just highlight some of the things that have been published there and some of the things that can be added also later on.
Yes.
One very important thing is that we should get away with all these flowers, floral decorations and unnecessary things that are done during the inauguration. Second is that we should try and limit the number of people who are there on the dais, because for right now in any inauguration, if there are 25 people, there is so much of resources which are wasted by people going onto that dais over there. So limit the number of people. Number three is that we have this traditional lamp lighting. I think that should be done away with, because that is unnecessary use of oil and lamp and candle and matchstick and all those things, and it is a unnecessary pollution. So best thing is to just water a plant if required, and so that each one can just pour a few drops of water on a plant and close it over there. As Dr. Balchandra mentioned before itself, we should make it very clear to all the people on the dais that this is an environmental friendly inauguration, not only conference, and therefore every step should be taken to preserve energy, to preserve the environment. The other thing is that usually there are too many lightings which are done. There are extra lamps, etc., which is not necessary at all. So you can reduce the amount of lighting which is done over there. Then, of course, which we will be discussing little later, is as far as the delegates who are there, there is too much of wastage of water and all those peppermints.
That will discuss
come to later.
Definitely. Sir, it's a real good suggestion, because the reason for keeping so many people on the dais, most of the time it is political. I mean, we can always do away with this thing. So, and over the period, I mean, nobody will be displeased, because if we form a guideline, and second, as far as the registration, this inauguration is concerned, we have seen that every time, I mean, there is so much of fanfare. I mean, we can always do away with it. I mean, we are all simple people, and we don't have to incur so many expenses. In fact, I won't name, but recently I was talking to President Central IIP, ex-President Central IIP, and I was just asking him in a very humorous tone that what do you do of all these trophies you receive? Then he honestly told me that when I was renovating my house, at least 3 to 4 lorry full of trophies, I simply sent to sell it, and even nobody took it. So, I mean, better if those 80 or 20 trophies, 80 or 100 trophies were replaced with saplings of trees, then at least there were 100 trees on the name of that president. So, we must, in fact, we must be innovative that if we want to present, if at all, then sapling plantation nowadays, it has become, I mean, very common at so many forums. I mean, it's very, very heartening. The paintings, etc., done by especially disabled children, autistic children, or Down syndrome, or whatever. I mean, they could be a good idea for gifting. So that comes to registration. Dr. Ramakant, are you there? You have joined?
Santa sir has joined, yes.
Yeah. So welcome, Dr. Ramakant. I hope the connectivity is good.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Ramesh ji. Am I audible?
Yeah, very well. So that
Yeah.
comes to, we now come to registration part, and registration part is very, very important, because most of the measures which are required, I mean, it is here. So can you throw some light? And I would request all other panelists also to add in case if they wish in this particular or any heading. Yes, Dr. Ramakant.
Thank you, Ramesh ji. It is. I really appreciate the compassion, empathy, because empathy should be and compassion should be for all walks, not only for patient management. And whenever I have seen Dr. Ramesh ji in all EV meetings, his phone is having at least 50 to 60% photographs of all environment, and he's constantly, it is in his blood, environment. And I appreciate that. Also, at the outset, I would like to thank West Bengal IIP to give this chance for this environment and child health group to disseminate the information. And in Vellore, the NCPID was nearly complete IPA Congress, and I had been Mahapedicon chairman in 2022. And we tried our level best that to make it maximum environment friendly. So most of all, that first important thing is minimum paper usage. We did not send a single printer across Maharashtra. The badge was given only of paper, but most of the program was on the app and on the WhatsApp group and on the delegates group. As far as possible, files should not be of plastic, but they should be of recycled this thing. And most important about this is reduce, reuse, and recycle. 3 R's are very important, and we do not need anybody to tell us what are the detrimental impact on child health. We everybody know from all these plastics and bisphenol A and all those things. So, and even in these folders, pain, because nearly everybody has got that pain. Also, many times, whatever brochure and these things are there, pharma companies are giving very high glossy paper. Most of the time, it is being littered in the room. So we should appeal to pharma that they should not be giving unnecessary papers into that high gloss paper. All the scientific content, big posters are there, but there we can keep a LED wall, which will be slightly less in a more environment friendly. Again, as Chinappa sir has said and Balachandra sir has said, the electricity use should be reduced. And all these floral decorations and conference and the podium and all those things should be as far as possible minimized. And conference kits and gifts, those should be again environment friendly. It should be as far as possible jute bag or cotton bag, which will help us in reusing it. And gifts and whatever bouquets are there, they should not be never of a flower, but that can be given of napkin, which are very well decorated. Or what we did in Mahapedicon, we give the bouquets as a napkins which were decorated properly, which could be reused. And as far as possible, we should be giving saplings of plants. So this way, greening the blue the blue should be our motto, that we should be compassionate not only in patient management, but our mother nature and environment. And we should be doing our minimum, whatever contribution we could be doing. Other panelists could add to this. But there was a wonderful, as Chinnappa sir has already said, Dr. Rameshji and Balachandra sir and Praveen Kumar sir have brought out that this thing. Pramod Kumar sir brought out different resolutions for doing environment friendly activity by pediatricians or medicos. Thank you for the opportunity, sir.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Ramakant. In fact, delegates should be encouraged, as was said by previous colleague, that they should keep boarding and travel details in their phone only. So whenever required, they can give it. In fact, we all have been flooded with so many plastic pens. I mean, if you go to any doctor's chamber, then 50s, 100s, I mean, God knows. So it is always better that whatever we give as a kit, I mean, it should be thoughtfully done. And now a lot of, I mean, even the malls, they are also not giving plastic bags. So pharma company, again, we are coming with separate guidelines for pharmaceutical industries. That would be a separate topic. And we would request, once we come out with it, we would request all our colleagues to give that suggestions to a representative who will, in front of him or her, will mail it to their higher authority. So,
Dr. Ramesh,
Dr. Jagdish sir, Dr. Jagdish sir.
Yeah. Dr. Ramesh, two things which I wanted to also highlight here. One is this name tags, these name tags, basically all these plastic name tags should be dispensed with. And if at all you are using name tags, they should be recyclable. Because if you go to any foreign conference, the bags and the name tags are always re-put into a bin and they are recycled.
Yes.
So I think it's very important that these two things are taken care of.
Yes, in fact, the containing seed also. I mean, the delegate can straight away go home and throw it in their compound, and it will grow a plant. So you are a doyen of Indian pediatrics, and I'm very sure that you might have got hundreds of tags at your home. So in fact,
Yes.
the other suggestion is it can be made up of paper also, and it can be attached gently with your blazer.
Dr. Ramesh sir, I would like to add to this,
Yeah,
if you allow me.
Please.
So let me elaborate this simple lanyard further to rethink that this one is not so easy. Okay, lanyards with event branding and a plastic case for name badges and tickets, they are so ubiquitous and they do the job. Okay, no fiddly pins on clothes, hands free, useful for identifying fellow attendees and relatively inexpensive. But unfortunately, they are also often thrown away at the end of the event or stuck in a drawer with a pile of others. Okay, so there are more sustainable alternatives. I would go for that bamboo lanyards I have seen somewhere that can be matched with eco-friendly badges and which can be recycled directly or returned for waste to energy disposal. And the other option is wipeable name badges that may also be a solution for venues and who can collect and reuse them repeatedly. And another new idea is that you can request attendees bring their own. That has an added benefit. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It encourages your guests them to see themselves as involved in your sustainable efforts. And it's also an effective, you say, icebreaker at the beginning of a conference. Ask them to bring their everyday work lanyard or their most distinctive. Okay. So they will naturally raise questions and prompt conversation. And continuing with that, the part one, that pre-event preparations, I would like to add there that you should announce boldly that this is going to be a green conference and highlight some of path-breaking your stands taken by organizing team. This will create a sense of curiosity and responsibility in delegates prior to coming to the conference, and that will go a long way to achieve the goal. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And regarding inaugural part, I endorse the idea of tree plantation as inaugural ceremony part to symbolize the commitment to environment sustainability. Thanks.
Yes, Ajay bhai. In fact,
I wanted to add one more point,
yes,
Ramesh ji,
Ramakant. Yeah, yeah,
that
please.
in our executive body meetings of Maharashtra State IIP, 2-3 members active are harping this point that too many plastic bottles are used for drinking water. Most of the
Yes.
conferences at very good places, and we for fellowship and banquets and everywhere we use the glasses of glass. Similarly, here rather than using whatever styrofoams or plastic cups or even plastic bottles from the dispenser in most of the international conferences, one has to drink from the spout. But
Yeah, yeah.
here
We are going to
in
take it later on. I mean, we'll come to it. We'll come to it.
So I want
So,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, Dr.
Conferences
Palak.
also we have to do that.
I want to highlight 2 points. Actually, the last 2 years in Pathanamthitta and Kottayam, we have done our summer pedicon. We give gifts made by autistic children, paintings made by autistic children. For the last 2 years, we have been doing this. But the problem is the faculty is the same now. Our houses will be filled with the same paintings. It's a problem. We have to find out different associations. In Nutricon for the last conference at Kottayam, we were giving saplings in pots made by Down syndrome children in Thrissur. They made it. One single boy, he is making this, and he has been sending this courier to our place. So, as gifts for the faculty, I think it's better to give those made by specially gifted children. And the second thing is regarding this scientific contents, which can be used using the QR code. But our many seniors in our group, they will not be very much familiar with this scientific contents to read from the mobile. So they might need hard copies. Even in fact, in our EB, many of our members have been asked the last meetings minutes as hard copies. So that is the thing. So every time
That is okay. That is okay if we print on both the sides of paper. I mean, if we restrict it for a certain age group, I mean, there also not everyone will ask, but that is okay. That is part of it. As Dr. Jagdish sir said, the change would be slow. Yes, yes, Dr. AK sir.
Ramesh, the conference which Bala is mentioning, we got a wonderful momentum. I'll show the momentum. It's a wonderful, beautiful momentum. Environment friendly. So all speakers are very happy in that it's prepared by a very beautifully, and it is a very, very environment friendly. All are very happy. Simple momentum, but very attractive.
And always person would like to keep with him or her. Yes, that's a real.
My point is, we should do it with mementos. I think it's high time that we said there's no memento at all.
Absolutely.
Only memento we should do is that everybody gets up and give a good clap for the person and close it at that. This collecting mementos is a big unnecessary expense for the organizers and a waste of space for everybody at home. So I think we should stop these mementos completely for everything. And I hope Dr. Balchandar, please convey this to Dr. Sachi and others that to do away with mementos completely.
Yes, sir. Here, sir, I think we should take testimonials of at least 20 past presidents who have loads of mementos with them. I mean, their video message or this message will go a long way.
The other thing which we can reduce wastage is this business of creating apps. You see, absolutely, every conference is creating one new app. If it is a national conference, one app is made. Then one local conference, another app is made. State conference, one app is made. Why can't we have the team to decide and give us one simple app which can be used for any conference? And I think because otherwise what will happen is you are wasting so much of time and effort of so many people, which is also environmentally bad.
No, sir. Apart from to vindicate your stand, sir. Apart from that thing, that also adds into climate change. That also adds into that. Very few people.
Because otherwise it's a kind of ego trip that I have to create my own app. It's not required. Common app which you can use. After all, it's only for few things. Do that and finish off with it.
Absolutely. Totally agree, sir. Dr. Ramakant?
Yes, sir. There is already in internationally for many conferences, there is one app platform.
Yes, yes.
Every weekly conferences that app available from that one industry. So you do not have to spend that much amount on that. So this is a very good idea. And also now most of the conferences people are not giving printed credit hour certificate. It should be only emailed, and many medical councils are taking it. And even for postgraduates also, we can email it. They only if they need it, they will print it out. So this
Yes.
should be additional thing which could be done for the conferences.
Yes, yes, thank you. Now, coming to most important part. I mean that decides the success of. Unfortunately, that decides the success of Paddycon food. And there are so many varieties, so many dishes. I mean, I really doubt that people they eat daily at their home. So many varieties of sweets and so many varieties of sabjis and all these things. So. Ajay bhai, you recently posted one photo of Bhandara in our EB group. So I mean, you are better person to deliberate on this food part. And this needs really sincere discussion.
Yeah,
And
definitely, Ramesh
yes,
sir.
Ajay bhai.
In fact, out of total waste created during a conference, it is 40 to 60% of food and water wasting. So this unnecessarily during conference, this helped. I would like to just reiterate the points of ECHH guidelines prepared by you for the conferences that was published. That food counters can be scattered so that there is no overcrowding. Okay, when easily available, people tend to take as much as is needed. When they see that there is so much huge rush, they unnecessarily load their plate only to throw in dustbin. So then next point is food should be available from the time of the event.
Yes.
Some senior citizens and some delegates arrive at end for banquet only, for dinner and not for the musical night. So they go back dissatisfied and unhappy. Plus overstaying causes overeating and that too junk food. Number 3, posters to be put that the poor will be given the leftover food, but not from the dustbins. So take only as much as you can eat. Then point number 4 is very good, that food should be marked as healthy and high calorie food, and junks be replaced with nutritious food and fresh local fruits. Then number 5 is coconut water, sugarcane juice, buttermilk be made available along with drinking water, tea and coffee. Then energy drinks and colas be not allowed. And leftover food should be distributed to needy as soon as meal time is over through an experienced agency. Then number 8, water dispensers can be installed as at airports. And number 9, alcohol and loud music can be done away with. Apart from this, I would like to add a few more points, like we have to coordinate with local food banks or organizations, if there are any, that accept food donations to ensure that surplus food is appropriately distributed and minimizes waste. So, and communicate that food donation initiative to attendees as well, encouraging their participation and raising awareness about food insecurity issues. And this information about the eco-friendly food and catering arrangement being implemented at the conference should be shared to all to raise awareness and encourage attendees to make sustainable choices. And we can provide educational material or organize sessions by large on sustainable food practices.
Yes.
And highlighting the benefit of environment. It's not only important to manage, it's also important that good things be publicized all the way, so that it becomes an example for further conferences. So these are my
practice environment friendly conferences. We tell them that not only you implement all these measures, but you publicize it also in social media so that other people, they are inspired. And moreover, Ajay bhai, the most important thing is that there is a huge amount of wastage. I mean, that wastage seemingly it doesn't click to the common IAPN, but that comes from the farms, and farmer puts significant amount of efforts the vital use of resources like fertilizers, water, etc. So it is ultimately, it adds into the climate change. So it is a very, very important. I mean, as you said, the counters should be spread all over, because it is a tendency when there is a restricted area, then people tend to take more. I mean, alcohol and this music, Dr. Jagdish sir, you are better person to comment about this thing. I mean, the youngsters, they especially they attend. People say that they attend due to one of the reason is this, that they, apart from academics, the overall gatherings is full of funfair. So because it's a harness nest.
I think, see, the issue, there are 2-3 issues here. Issue number one, should alcohol be allowed at all? Second thing is, there is one group of people who believe that no alcohol should be served in the conferences. Even the recent guidelines from the ministry has said that alcohol should not be served in medical conferences. So that is one way of looking at it. Second thing is that we are used to having 2-3 at least nights where alcohol is being served in most of the conferences. So this will be a very radical shift. So I think what we can do is basically make alcohol available, but available on purchase. So that means you don't give it free. So let people who want to use it, buy it, so that you can reduce the, first of all, the amount which the people take. Second is you can follow the guidelines that you are not giving free alcohol. So I think that's very, very possible. The second thing, as far as food is concerned, I agree with Dr. Ajay Tremor in all the aspects that he said. Again, I would suggest that don't make food free. In no foreign conference they give you food free. Okay, let them buy a token and then take it. The moment they spend even, let us say, 50 rupees to buy a food, they will automatically, restrict the whatever they are doing. When they
Yes,
get free
definitely.
food, it is wasted.
Yes, sir. In fact, if you recollect, in 95, 96, when Pedicon was held at Ahmedabad, my PG teacher, respected Mrs. Shashivani, she kept such arrangement. There were food stalls and one can go and purchase. And she didn't keep non-veg food. So there was a lot of hue and cry, because we all environmentalists, they know that non-vegetarian food ultimately it adds into the climate change. So this is a very radical, suggestion to stop alcohol. But I mean, don't you think, Ramakant, that pharmaceutical companies, they will organize private parties in the few rooms, etc. Because once it is to be paid. Ramakant, are you there?
You cannot avoid this, Dr. Ramesh. What you have to do is
Yes, absolutely. Dr. Bala, what do you say about this sensitive issue?
I would say that I would like to add to Jagdish sir what he said. Actually, we can give maximum 2 or 3 packs. After that, we have to pay, so that those who want just 2 or 3 packs they can have. Not more than that. That is what.
Somnath, please mute all and so that the speakers can unmute themselves.
Yes, please. Because lot of unnecessary noise comes. Mute all except the one who speaks.
So our central government has given an instruction. So based on that, we can say we have to give something, but not in what we used to see in all conferences. That is what I think.
In fact, the other aspect is social aspect also, because so many youngsters nowadays in the era of social media, they capture the video and then they share on common platforms. There also, it doesn't augur well with the general public. They think that doctors are God. Doctor ye itna pee gaye the, dance kar rahe the, ye kar rahe the. That is entirely a different area, but it is also a fact. Anything else?
Regarding this alcohol, I would like to submit only one thing, that I agree with Dr. Jagdish Chenappa that either it should not be served, but that is a really impractical solution. The
Yes.
ideal practical solution is just you can keep it on purchase, at least for alcohol part only, and that will itself reduce overall the burden, economic burden and all.
One point, sir. You have to reduce this, whatever said, alcohol and everything. Food you have to give, not to give free of cost. Then our registration, early
Registration fees will certainly come down. It will certainly come down easy to the reach of every pediatrician.
That
So
is
this is
again,
also very
a separate
important.
issue. That is again a separate issue, and it is need of the hour because so many people they are complaining about high registration fees. Yes.
But
And
sir,
Dr. Bala,
one more thing, sir.
Bala, yeah, please,
Yeah.
please.
The one more thing, even if the registration is very high, we are seeing 7,000 to 8,000 members attending our conferences. If it doubles now, it will be very difficult. Only a few centers will be able to run the show.
Again, that's a very hot topic nowadays. So,
So
Dr.
if
Bala,
this all three, sir,
yeah,
sir, may I say
Ramakant.
one thing? Yeah, if all these freebies are reduced and the vacationing will be reduced, so those who are interested in academics will be definitely joining the conferences. One more point about that is very valid point, maximum number of counters, but at the same time giving packed lunches, at least lunches, will keep the delegates awake also. It will reduce the wastage also, and it will be environment friendly packed lunches in a good biodegradable packaging. And important is that reduction of meat is very important environment saving deed. So consumption of meat has to be reduced. It cannot be done away with, but it has to be reduced.
Yes, yes. Yes, I agree with you, Dr. Ramakandi, because in Excellence in Pediatrics and all other conferences, the variety of food is, I mean, so less, hardly 3 or 4 these things. And still, I mean, people are happy because there is, I mean, nowhere like what exorbitant, the price-wise menu and extravagant. I mean, hardly it is required. And we see that most of the dishes, they contain food wastage. So, Dr. Bara, that brings us to the another important topic, that how this should be managed, food waste, as far as garbage is concerned. I mean,
We should have proper labeled dustbins in different colors, you know, that yellow, green and all. So we should have properly labeled dustbins at every center. That should be in plenty, so that littering will be minimized, so that at the end of the day, that area will be very clean. Those who are doing this collection and should be given the responsibility, there should be the authorized collectors, and they should be given green uniform, mask and gloves, so that there should be a sense of responsibility in them. And others who are seeing this also should know the importance of wasting, and all the garbage should be minimized. And whatever we see a lot of tissue papers being used, but those tissue papers should be from recycled papers. That is what I think. And we should have green zones. We should have signages signifying the importance of conservation. So we should have words in simple language about how this global warming occurs, how this climate change occurs. Everything has to be given in very simple language, in local language, so that ordinary members also who are coming there should be able to know that how this global warming occurs.
yes,
So
and as previously said by our colleague, that the distribution of this food waste to the needy should be in a human manner. It should not be from that waste. I mean, it should be clearly conveyed to the participants. And then Jagdish sir, we used to drink water in a steel glass 10-15 years back. There was one water cooler outside the hall. There were 2-3 steel glasses. So don't you think that was a better era in this era of junk, these water bottles? Your views about?
A great idea, but unfortunately, culturally not acceptable, because we are still very used to, this business of supposing somebody has drunk from that glass, it will be difficult to use the same glass again, unless it is washed properly. So there is a cultural issue with that. So what I would suggest,
at that time, sir, we used to wash it. I mean, hardly with 1 or 2.
So, but you will waste water there again.
But rather than huge amount of plastic, I mean, don't you think that's a lesser ability?
There are better solutions. I think what you can do is you can set out one simple, like for example, food itself. I'll come to food. What you can do is in the dining hall itself, you can put a big board there. 10 ways you can help in this hall itself to the environment. You can tell them how they can help by bringing their own handkerchief instead of using tissue paper. They can bring the bottle, their own bottle, and take it from a dispenser, water from a dispenser. They can limit the amount of food, limit wastage. See, all this should be put as a board right in the dining hall, saying 10 ways they can help the environment in the dining hall itself. Because many times it is not that people don't want to do it, they are not aware of what they can do there. So they should be able to do that. Then other thing is that there is a huge amount of water which is wasted in washing all the plates and glasses which people eat, and the vegetables and fruits that come in for making salad and fruit salad and whatnot. So I think there also we should be very clear how this water, which water is coming, how much water is being used. So some water audit should be there. So I think the important thing is that it should be done at different levels. At first level is what an individual can do. Second is what the caterer can do. Third is what the facility manager can do in terms of recycling water for the toilets and the wash area, etc. And I think the whole water saving consciousness should be there in everybody. So I think these are some things that we can implement easily by putting it up as an awareness both before the conference and during the conference.
Yeah. So, practically, 1 hour has passed. In no time. Dr. Ramagan, coming to this pharma stalls and this industry, and don't you think that there are so many suggestions?
Yeah, there are so many suggestions. Very important, because whatever the paper littering which occurs in the rooms and in the conference hall is most of the time whatever is given in our bag, delegate bag. So many flyers of their products are there. And since they are giving a stall, taking a stall, even organizers are helping them to put it in a delegate bag. And this is it is not environment friendly, and it is a wastage. We have to, as Chinappa sir has said, that to start with, and even Dr. Rajesh Srivastava sir has said that we have to be from very beginning should be appealing. This is a green conference, environment friendly conference. All this has to be said, imbibe time and again, and even on the pharma companies also. They should not be using a glossy paper. They should not be using the flyers. At the stalls, there should not be plastic banners and flicks. As far as possible, electronic displays. All wrappers and cartons should not be should be segregated on site. If at all these cartons are being used, and all products should be displayed digitally, less use of the glossy paper. These things have to be done and appeal to pharma. And there are also people who listen to you. And if it is the other ways are suggested to them that how they can reach to the delegates, then they will definitely will try to reduce their expense on this unnecessary expense on these flyers and high glossy papers.
Absolutely. Because they will realize that that is unnecessary expense. Like what we used to get all the conference brochure announcement 1, 2, and 3. Now, because it has been now done away, so it is always good. And the message which they can display in our even private practice also. So every 1 month they can come out with some good poster which can be displayed in your waiting room, like suggesting common environmental measures which at individual level one can take. So and now, because we are running short of time, so we'll hurry up and finish other 2 points. So, Ajay bhai, as far as air pollution is concerned, because we everywhere we see
Ramesh sir, Ajay sir has raised his hand.
I had raised my hand for something suggestion for pharma companies. We can direct we can direct the sponsors for if they want to give some gifts. Hello.
Please mute.
Somnath, I can mute all everyone.
Anyway, so we can direct the sponsors for sustainable giveaways like reusable bags or pens made from recycled material or plantable seed paper. Apart from this, there can be a green innovation showcase, like allocate a specific area for sponsors to showcase their environmentally friendly products or services or promoting sustainable solutions. So coming to the air pollution part. So not only outdoor but indoor air quality is very important, and we have to collaborate with the venue to maintain proper ventilation and air filtration systems to improve indoor air quality. And no room spray or air fresheners to be used, as it releases volatile organic compounds which are hazardous to health. And there should not be any firecrackers to welcome office bearers or celebrities. One very important point is that we can develop a system of evaluation and reporting. Like we can assess the conference air quality impact, pre-conference air quality measurement, and post-conference air quality measurement, if feasible. And
Yeah, that's a good
we can share these findings and progress on air pollution reduction initiative with all attendees, all stakeholders, and academic community to inspire further action. This is my take about that
Yeah.
air quality.
And I think President-elect also should himself, he should, I mean, do away with all these formalities to welcome him, because I hardly it is needed, because he has been elected by each and every IAPN. So, I mean, it doesn't need further validation. And finally, coming to noise pollution. So, Dr. Bala, can you finish it? Because this would be the last point, because I have been warned of we are running short of time. The topic is so interesting because we can go on talking for hours.
Yeah. So before
Yes,
going
Dr.
to the noise pollution, regarding air pollution, I want to add one more thing, one more point, that we should share a car to the maximum. That carpooling should be there. We
Yes.
have seen in Pedicons that many cars coming with just one person. So
Yes.
what we can do is, if the organizers can arrange a tempo traveler, and some say 2-3 kilometers before that itself, they can stop the car, and these tempo travelers can carry the delegates to the venue. So this is what we are thinking at Cochin, because we have got a water metro also. So we can save some at least 5 kilometers. So much, this much cars traveling this 5 kilometers stretch, we can reduce the air pollution also.
That's excellent. Excellent.
The second, about the noise pollution, it happens at 3 places. One is during our banquet, during the music time. Second is during the pharma. In that pharma, they are sponsoring all this family area and all. There, the lot of loudspeakers. The children are exposed to these loudspeakers, so they should have control in that. And I think this pharma people want to hear that music at the end of the area. So that we should control. And even in our halls also, in some centers I've seen that the speakers are very much loud, especially that during the banquet, the music sound is very hard. So what we can do is we can give earpads to those. We should request everybody to use the earpads, so that that much noise pollution can be reduced.
Yes, yes. In fact, there was a very interesting discussion yesterday in EB group, that someone suggested, I mean, it's a very sensible suggestion, in fact, that there should be 2 pedicons. One should be totally academic oriented, and second should be the one which people, especially they say youngsters. I don't know why youngsters like, but there is, I don't find any discrimination between youngsters and older, because there are one class of people basically sponsored by pharma industries. Even after 7,000 to 8,000 registrations, hardly the people are sitting in the main halls to listen to the lectures. So someone has a good suggestion that to go for 2 pedicons in a year, and to do away with all other zonal pedicons, etc. So, Dr. Jagdish sir, can you sum it up?
Yeah, I
Because
think,
we are running short of time. Yeah.
I think a wonderful discussion. I think every aspect of the conference has been covered, starting from the pre-conference to the conference and post-conference. All the important points have been looked at, and I think you have come up with very good SOPs during your time, Dr. Ramesh, during the your presidentship. What we need is an update now, and we need a second edition now. And I think it is not difficult to implement, as Dr. Narmada has shown that it is not difficult to implement. She had implemented about 75 to 80%. Another 20% can still be implemented. And I think these are some of the things that we should all put our heads together and update what you have already done and give it as a kind of suggestion to the next organizer of the next Pedicon. I think Dr. Balchandar is here who can take it forward to Dr. Sachi and others and see whether some of these can be implemented. And as we said that change has to be slow. We can't do away with drinks. We can't compel people not to eat. So all those things are not possible at once, but at least some beginning can be made. So I think it's a good discussion that we have had, and I congratulate the environment group and the IIP Calcutta group for bringing this important topic for discussion. Dr. Saboth, of course, will also add his important points here now. So I hand it back to him.
Yes, Prashant.
Thank you. Thank you, Jagdish sir. Thank you, Ramesh sir. I feel very much excited and as well as passionate to see the feelings of senior persons like Chinnappa sir, Bajania sir, Dr. Ajay Srivastav sir. And I am also totally vegetarian, so definitely I will also support this. But we have to be practical. So our Atanu sir is also here. So at least we can ensure you in Calcutta conference, in Calcutta Pedicon, we will go with the SOPs of environment chapter as far as possible, especially for sound pollution, for these what Ramakant sir told, that to minimize or to avoid these plastic and papers, given in the rooms, or those things we can always avoid. In the fooding things, we can avoid this water wastage as told by our senior people. So these things we can definitely, so step by step, definitely.
So from
it is we are really privileged.
Whatever has come out, we'll edit and we'll come out with revised guidelines.
Sir.
I have noted
suggestions. I personally, Ramesh sir, I feel privileged that environment chapter has taken birth in our IAP, and they are the flag bearer of saving the environment. So
Prashant
IAP,
sir, let me tell you very interesting thing. Credit goes to Dr. H. Parmesh sir. He started ECHG in Central IIP 1 year before American Academy of Pediatrics started this group in US. Now this is known as a
really, we are privileged, sir. We are privileged and honored that at least we have such people who think about all these things. And you are very right. It is not younger and older generation, because I will not hesitate to tell that culprits are everywhere, whether they are old or they are young.
Absolutely.
There are younger people also who want that, who want to avoid sound pollution, who want to avoid alcohol, who want to avoid non-waste. And there are senior persons also who enjoy alcohol, who enjoy sound, who enjoy dancing, who enjoy music, who enjoy these pollutions, smoking and everything.
Yes,
so it is not between senior and junior, it is between attitude, sir. It is between attitude. So now time has come that we should realize. So thank you very much, all the panelists, for giving the time. Ramesh Bajania sir, especially for steering, and of course Anand sir also, Chinnappa sir also, and सबसे important thing, Atanu sir, who has organized this and steered this entire discussion. It is more than 1 hour. We had a very healthy discussion, and thank you, Bala sir. Also, I am thankful to everybody, and also Atanu sir. So we would
request Atanu sir to finish it. So we would request Atanu sir to finish it in 1 minute.
So we have a recording of this. So yeah, I will post it in the YouTube channel. So everyone can, this discussion can be, we can put in the environment group also, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And let me reassure you that today I have noted many new points all of you have suggested. So we'll definitely, it is time to come out with second edition of guidelines, and we'll do in this week only, and we'll share it with you. So thank you very much. I really thank West Bengal Academy of Pediatrics for organizing and selecting this particular useful topic. I thank Dr. Jagdish Chinnappa sir, Dr. Balachandar, Dr. Rajesh Srivastav, Dr. Ramakant Patil, though he was traveling. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, sir. Good night, everybody.